This is Denise. Welcome back to my channel, Deliberate Disinclusion. As I've said before, I've spent 20 years in leadership management, and I've done some time in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And there's a lot of things that focus on inclusion. So I like to talk about deliberate disinclusion. And in some of my previous videos, I've talked about childhood deliberate disinclusion, friendship, social circle, deliberate disinclusion. And today I would like to talk about disinclusion when it comes to family. And so when we talk about deliberate disinclusion when it comes to family, that could stem back from our childhoods. And so no matter what pecking order you were in, growing up, you could have been the oldest, the middle, the youngest, one of, eight, eight of eight, however it, it, lands. We all probably have experienced some type of deliberate disinclusion within our families. And as we get older, dynamics change, right? People come into the mix, people come into the fold. And, we've heard the saying that sometimes, people like to say blood is thicker than water, but that's not always the case. Sometimes, family dynamics, while we're born into these families, doesn't mean that we're always going to be close knit to our families. And so people have favorites, and there's going to be parents that favor children more. There's going to be children that are favored more by parents. There's going to be siblings that's favored more by each other, cousins, aunties, however the case may be. But there's nothing more hurtful than being deliberately disincluded by your own blood. And but as we get older, we can pick and choose, right? We can say, some of these people are toxic. I prefer not to be a part of that. And I know for me that I made those decisions in my life to say, you know what, I prefer not to be associated with, certain people in my family because of just the way that I live. And everybody lives differently. Not knocking anybody, but everybody's lifestyle is different. But being deliberately disincluded, especially when you put yourself out there and you're really trying to create that relationship, create those bonds, that connection, continue on with that legacy, right? Continue on with what our grandparents instilled in us, that togetherness, that family, that bond. And unfortunately, it doesn't always stay that way. But to be deliberately disincluded when it comes to things, when it comes to your blood, your family, that's a hurtful thing. I talked to one of my friends lately and recently, and they were telling me that they relocated back to be closer to their family, and what ended up happening was um, they decided that they realized that was not the best decision for them. And this person is like totally heartbroken by what has occurred. And so now they have to make a decision on whether they stay or whether they leave. And unfortunately, we think that being close to our families will be great, make the bond closer, but it doesn't always work that way. I've talked to too many people where there are wedges, there's animosity, there's jealousy, and those type of things create distance, and people get excluded. So I know I'm not the only one who's experienced it. I know my friend isn't the only one that has experienced it. So I really want to talk about it. Let's get into it.